I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Nova Woava is capping again about seeing NaZiyah hers. Also, has Nicki Minaj, Ghetto Pass been revoked? Salute to the chat. Salute to my moderators. Salute to the replay gang. Now, I'm going to give everybody 3 minutes to pull up, and then we're going to get into this demonstration. So make sure y'all are sharing the live out. Make sure you all have your popcorn, your potato chips, whatever it is that you need, because this is going to be another explosive demonstration. So salute to everybody, and I'll be back in less than a minute, and we will jump into this demonstration, y'all. All right, all right. Now, many of you all are new to this case. Now, I received a few DMs about this Nova Woava. Now, for those that are new to the case, I have already covered Nova Woava about 4 months ago, but I am aware that she has released a new video a couple days ago, and you all wanted me to speak on that. Let me see who we got first. Let me acknowledge. I see you, Bird. I see you, Marshall. I see Goddess. Appreciate for the membership, Goddess. Appreciate that, Goddess. Now, when it comes to Nova Woava, now, at first, I did give her the benefit of the doubt. I felt like it's a strong possibility that Nova may have saw NaZiyah out there in LA, right? Now, when we chopped it up about the evangelist was speaking on NaZiyah still being alive. NaZiyah outsmarting Shannon, Annette, and her other ops. So I was like, strong possibility. Strong possibility. This is what I'm going to do. All right, let me see what we got down here before I even go. I see you, Venetia, and Sage. I see. Her mama just recently told her to stop saying she knows her. I think it's a clout thing for her. And that's facts. It's like, you know, for us old timers that have been on the case, we can pretty much determine what's real, what's not real. We can determine when somebody is clout chasing, right? I see you, Christine. Appreciate this super sticker, Peaches. Girl dad, I see you cooking up delicious. I see. But let's just like I said, for my new timers, for those that are new to the case, I see you, Capricorn. For those that are new to the case, let's just chop it up with those that are new. All right. Now, right off the rip, I mean, you can pretty much tell that she's capping.
But not too much of them. NaZiyah. Mimi, why you act like you knew where that girl was at? Do you know y'all teenage be keeping secrets?
Yeah.
So you think she alive? I'm literally.
I know she's alive.
Now, let's stop right there with it, y'all. All right. I see you, Mel. Let's stop right there. Now, that's her mom, you know. And for me, and I'm not young. I'm not young. Some people say to me, Shank, you think like an old head. And that's true. That's true. The young ends don't move like y'all move. The young ends don't think like y'all think. So for me, being an old head, I'm looking at her. And y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. If I got some young ends, if I got some old heads, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Now, off the rip, to me, she seems like it's a joke to her. Did anybody else pick up on that? Let me just start there. Did anybody else pick up on Nova taking this as a joke? Right? I see you, Time Warp. Sama. I see y'all in the chat. Now, like I said, the young ends, out of respect for the young ends, they play like that. You know, us old heads, we don't play like that. But it just could be a generation gap. You know, now her mom is asking her, why you playing? Why you doing this? Do you still think that she's alive? Now, Nova says yes. Yes, she's still alive. Now, remember the evangelist, remember the cowardly lion, he spoke on it. NaZiyah being alive. But let me let this finish, y'all. Let me let this finish. I believe the first time, but now it's ridiculous because we know better. Right. And that's what I'm saying. For us old timers, that's been, you know, on this case. I mean, you know, we see it for what it is. We can tell when somebody capping. We can tell when somebody just out for clout chasing. And I think that Nova is out for clout chasing, y'all. I think that. I could pick that up immediately. She's taking it as a joke. But then again, Nova, she takes everything as a joke.
Manny, I can do it. Manny, I'm not playing.
I know she's alive. Is that Patricia sneaking around over there? I can't say too much on here though. But I know she's alive.
Now, even though I'm an old head, some things I can't say. Drop a 1. Drop a 1 if y'all think this is cap. She's lying. Drop a 2 if y'all believe her. Let me know. I see you, Chandra. Carol, I see y'all. What are we getting out of this? Is she's capping or is she telling the truth? Queen B says, I believe her that she thinks that. Because it's a strong possibility. Jenny says, I don't know. Because when people be trying to get me out of information, I plead the fifth. Look, I don't know Nathan.
You know?
No, they just came out talking about something. One of the guys testified and was like, okay, let me tell you what really happened that day. And they said they beat her.
Yeah, but she's alive.
I'm praying for you and her. What you okay? You took off your butter?
Good news or bad news first?
Oh my gosh.
A comet is crashing into Earth in 24 hours.
So yeah.
What's the bad news then? I'm gonna steal your boyfriend. Ryan, we only
What's
have one day left before the comet hits us.
Oh my gosh! Want to make out to
Aww.
Travel to Santorini.
I love it. You too hard. Yeah.
Mom, I'm trying to put.
Okay, you trying to concentrate?
We're talking about my sugar daddy.
I want you to be regular. Damn.
I'm regular.
We be talking when we're not on live.
Mom,
Talk.
I'm regular.
What's going on?
They're screen recording.
What you doing tonight with your friends?
What?
What you doing tonight with your friends? Where y'all going? Talking about Tutu in India. Yeah.
Oh, Samantha, why?
You, Ryan.
Oh, I think I'm in love too, Samantha.
I want to know all the friends. I want to know what's going on. I want y'all to tell me where you guys are going. I want you to FaceTime me when you get there. I'm about to really be like that mom on your ass. Hey guys.
And you're going to get that blocked.
See what I'm saying? Why would you block? And that's what you really do. Your true colors be showing. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just playing.
I'm setting your ass up every chance I get. Cause this go around, I'm really on. I can't go into 2026 with the same bullshit. You got me 23, 24, 25. You think 26? 6, 7. Yeah, right. No, for real. I can't do it.
Oh, look at this.
Rania, hurry up so you can fry these fish. I'm hungry.
Eat the spaghetti.
I'm thick now. I gotta eat. I be feeling like I'm about to fall out.
Now, I'm just not convinced, y'all. I see you, Q. I see you. I see the chat. Let me grab this real quick. Mel says, I'm not really sure what's going on. Queen says, I believe she thinks she alive and she thinks she's seen her. I don't believe she could have made it, but Nova really thinks she's alive. My son is a YN and the way expresses his emotions is off. Right. You know, they completely express their feelings and they move different from us. However, that's just how they move. And we can't take away from how they move. I see you, Q. Her mother wants friends and not a child. If she believes she's alive, how come she won't show proof? Well, and I will say if she is alive and maybe maybe those, because here's the thing, y'all. We don't know. Now, I've had Bree, I've had Q up on the panel with me several times, and Bree and Q has done an excellent job. And y'all know how I am. It's like one day I could be over here, and then when somebody comes with something that's convincing, then I could be over there. Now, after Q and Bree blessed the panel with their visions and their findings, at this time, I believe that NaZiyah is no longer with us. I'm sorry to be Debbie Downer. I'm sorry to spoil a lot of y'all parade, because there are still many of you all that do believe that NaZiyah is still alive. And I'm like, many of you all were even hoping that NaZiyah was going to walk in the courtroom. You know, for me, where I'm at in the case, I kind of like weeded out a lot of the things that it just ain't gonna happen. You know, the thing with Shannon being arrested, it just doesn't look like Shannon is going to be arrested anytime soon. Now, there's still a strong possibility that she will, because I felt like she should have been arrested. But back to whether or not NaZiyah is still alive. Let's stay there for a few, all right? I see you, Miss V365. I see you. I see you, Teb Tay. I see you. Happy Merry Christmas to you too. Even though I don't celebrate it, but Merry Christmas. And make sure y'all are misspelling y'all cuss words too, y'all. My baby girl NaZiyah is gone, unfortunately. Yeah. I think she's gonna walk in the courtroom. Drop a 3. Drop a 3 if y'all feel like Chandra. If y'all feel like one day NaZiyah is going to walk in the courtroom. Drop a 4 if you just like, nah, it ain't happening. For me, with NaZiyah, let's just vibe off of if NaZiyah is still alive. It's like whoever, because she's still a minor. I believe she's 15, so she's still a minor. So she would have to be living with someone. And then we just gotta look at her age, because this is where age is going to play a major part in it. Now, she can get around being on social media because she can always be under another name. You know, they could always change her appearance, but at 15 years old, you know, she would have to be sharp. And I'm not saying that she's not sharp, but she would have to really, really be sharp. Now, whoever, you know, is taking care of her, that's going to be a liability on their part, because they know if anybody finds out that NaZiyah is this young teenager that I have with me, I could get in a lot of trouble. You know, I could get in a lot of trouble. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Come on with them 3s, y'all. But we're going to spend some time in this demonstration. I'm going to go to the Nicki Minaj, and then we're going to come back to NaZiyah. True thinks it's cap. True says it's cap. I'm looking at pregnancy, the blood, no signs of her, the evidence they claim to have, plus more, and the fact that if she was alive, he would have told where she was. And that's true, goddess. That's something that we all was feeling like, well, shit, if she was alive, you know, I'm sure Jarvis would definitely come forward and say, look, she's alive, because I'm sure he ain't trying to go down for a red rum. But then we gotta look at it like this. What if Jarvis don't know? What if Jarvis don't know? Yes, this is Nova from California. This is the Nova from California, and she claims that NaZiyah is still alive. Now, and then we got to keep in mind, and one thing that I like to deal with over here, I like to deal with facts. Chandra says he ain't no snitch. Now we got to deal with this, y'all. And this is something that hasn't been cleared up in about 5 months. All right. Now, and I'm going to speak on it, you know, since It's always an issue with Shank Rock from some people. It's always an issue with Shank Rock when he goes live and you want to debunk Shank Rock. Well, debunk this. I want you to debunk this. And everybody that is over there with her, make her answer this question. We got to remember, Kiwana said to Kenya, won't you tell everybody where NaZiyah is? You drove away with her in your truck. And you want to keep talking about Shank Rock? Answer that. So that's another thing we got to keep in mind. So it's so many twists in this case. You welcome. He ain't no snitch. So she back with her trifling mother. That could be it. Shank, I was thinking like that too. Maybe he doesn't know. And it could be it. Jarvis could not know. It's a strong possibility that he might not know. Right? Now, what do y'all think about Nicki Minaj? What are y'all thoughts on Nicki Minaj? Nicki Minaj sat down with Charlie Kirk's ex or fiance, Erica. Right? God, it says crazy statement that was made. Now, she's in the hot seat. She's in the hot seat. Y'all be good. I'm about to go back to what I was doing, talking to Lady Storm from Outlaws. Stay blessed. Sending light and love. IQ. A lot of people is coming for Nicki. All right. Let me run for those that just pulled up. Let me just run this back for those that just pulled up. So this is Nova.
But not too much on you. NaZiyah. Mimi, why you act like you knew where that girl was at? They be saying that in the live. You couldn't play with shit like that. Do you know her after you know y'all? Do you know her after you know y'all teenagers be keeping secrets?
Yeah.
So you think she alive? I'm literally.
I know she's alive.
I mean, I'm not playing.
I know she's alive. I can't say too much on here though. But I know she's alive. You know?
No.
So that's Nova. That was Nova saying that she knows NaZiyah is alive. Now, I did do 2 demonstrations on the sightings of NaZiyah in Los Angeles a few months ago. And make sure y'all go and check that out. We're going to switch lanes for a few, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to switch lanes to this thing with Nicki Minaj. How do y'all feel? Do y'all think that Nicki should have even went to talk with Charlie Kirk's fiance or girlfriend? What was it any harm in her speaking with the girlfriend? I see you, PM. I see you, PM. Because you know, see, this one thing that I know about being a content creator, you know, and Nicki is, she's a rapper. She's an artist, you know, and she's been doing her thing for a while. And I notice as a content creator, when you make certain moves, the average person that's not in that lane, even those that is in the same lane with you, won't be able to understand the moves that you make So when you got people that's not in that lane, they ain't gonna understand why you making that move. Like I said, people trying to figure out, well, why she sat down with Charlie Kirk's girlfriend anyway. And then the statement that she made, she finally pretty much was giving Donald Trump his flowers, and I think that's why a lot of black people is angry with Nicki Minaj. But let's go to it, y'all. Let me go to it. I think I got it. All right, I'm coming, y'all. All right. All right. Let's tap into it, y'all.
Some fun words for Governor Newsom. I have to read these tweets. Okay, first one, we'll do this one. Unless you want to read it in your own voice, I think it'd be really great. Okay.
Oh, Gabby Poo, it only gets worse from here for you, buddy. It's the end of the road for you, my love. Get on the nearest jet ski and let that beautiful hair blow in the wind. It'll make you happier than this race that you will not win. Enjoy.
Okay. One more.
Why not? Imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Haha, not even a trans want to see healthy, safe, happy kids. Not Gav, the Gav nots. Gav not in, Gav out. Send in the next guy, I'm bored.
I love it. So I'm just gonna let you riff. Like, I want you to say whatever you want to say to Mr. Newsom.
Dear Newscom, we don't have a problem cleaning up the scum if we have to. Please tread lightly. That's what I would say to Gabby Poo.
So with regard to the current administration, what is that you just really has been put on your heart that you've learned about our president and our vice president?
Well, I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president.
What are y'all thoughts? Was she out of pocket? Is she wrong for speaking on our president, the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, and his administration? What are y'all thoughts on that? Because a lot of black people are mad about that and other comments that she made on this interview. But should we, as melanated people, should we be upset with Nicki Minaj because she gave praises to Donald Trump? Anybody? She's very entertaining. Flush them pills down the toilet, Nicki. Nicki is in a tax bracket to support Trump. He's giving her tax cuts. And that's facts, y'all. And I've learned this over the years. It's no longer a black thing. It's no longer a white thing. It's when you're climbing up that ladder, when you're reaching higher levels, it's no longer about race. It's really not. It's really not about race anyway. But when you climbing, you'll see that it's really not about race. You'll see that from both sides. White people can tell you that they would rather break bread with black people. White people will tell you that their own kind they don't trust. Black people will tell you the same thing. I would rather break bread with white people because my own kind I can't trust. So Ann says, I'm not mad at her at all. SP says, I couldn't care less what that chick says. Why do people waste their time with her? No, put it on blast. This is one random interview. I didn't watch it, but Nicki has been weird for some years. If she wants to support him, that's on her. Ann says, sorry, I voted for Trump. Drop a 6. Drop a 6 if you voted for Trump. I don't too flying, you know what? I voted for Kanye West. Drop a 7 if you voted for Kanye West. Y'all making me feel like I should run for president. Drop a 9. Drop a 9 if y'all will vote for Shank Rock. I see you, Patricia. I see you, Evelyn.
He has, I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys and to win and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact. He's from Queens, New York, like me. So, but what it's shown me personally is sometimes, you know, even in the worst feeling times in your life, you think that you're never going to come back from it, but you do. And our president shows that. He's been through every single thing a person could be through publicly. Having to constantly be lied on. It's not really that funny until you are in that person's shoes that's being lied on. You'll never understand what it feels like. That person is a human being. They have a family who has to read those lies. And that's not, and it's just not fair. But this administration is full of people with and soul. And they make me proud of them. Our vice president, he makes me, well, I love both of them, but they're both powerful men, smart, strong, all of that, but both of them have a very uncanny ability to be someone that you relate to. I can relate to them. When I hear them speak, I know that they're one of us. Like, I know that they're not, don't you guys agree? They haven't lost touch of the world. You know, they're still connected to the world and what's happening in the world, with the younger people and older people, with the richer people and not so rich people. They have the ability to still connect and be real and make us feel proud to be American.
a lot of people is not happy with that at all. Leslie says, I don't give two you know what it about race and stupidity. Leslie says, girl, bye. SP says, I can't with her. I missed what was said concerning NaZiyah. I'm going back to that part. I'll be back. Okay, SP. You know, it's... Listen, y'all, you know, when it comes to politics, it's sensitive. You know, it's a very sensitive topic. Ain't her husband P, but you know, man, it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I remember when Ice Cube went to sit down with Trump. Y'all remember? Man, black people came for Ice Cube head. I remember when Steve Harvey. It's like anybody that's black sits down with Trump or give Trump any flowers, black people come for them. Mara says, I support her doing whatever she needs to do to protect her legacy. And that's really, in my opinion, it's what it's about. She got to do what she got to do to protect what she got going on. You know, I live in the hood of Detroit, and I would do anything to protect my legacy, my households, along with my assets. It's not for the public to understand. That's facts, Mark. You couldn't have said it no better, y'all. You couldn't have said that no better. And we, in my opinion, we got to get out of our own way, not as black people, but as Americans, period. Because it's not, black people aren't the only Americans that got a jacked up perspective on things. Everybody from a race, let me backtrack. There are people from every race that has a jacked up perspective. But then there are people from every race that has a solid perspective on things. But going into 2026, when will we get it? When will we really look at the bigger picture? You know, it's not about who he supports. It's not about who she supports. It's really about who you support. Because this is what I learned. I learned this in life. You could be so concerned about who somebody else is hanging out with, right? That you're not even paying attention to the devil that you're hanging out with. Are y'all listening to me? I'm going to say it again. You can be so focused in on who somebody else is hanging out with. You could be so focused on who somebody else is entertaining and not paying attention to the devil that you're hanging out with. We always seem to believe that we know everything. We always seem to believe that our way of thinking is the correct way. You got Christians. You got Christians that believe that their way is the right way. Not all. You got Muslims. You got Democrats. You got Republicans. You got blacks. You got whites, Mexicans. You got people in this country that think that their way of looking at things and doing things is the only way. In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with the comments that Nicki made about Donald Trump, giving Donald Trump his flowers. Hey, that's how she feel. You know, she's in that bracket. She's in that tax bracket. You and I may not be in that tax bracket. So the things that Trump, and I don't want to make this a political thing, but it is a political thing. The things that Trump is doing could be benefiting her. the things that he's doing may not be benefiting us because we're not in that tax bracket. Nicki entitled to support whoever she believes. That's what I said, Shank. Man, you got kids being deleted in school and y'all worried about this. They don't give two flying cents about us getting real. That's facts, Leslie. And this is what I'm saying. We're so worried about other people things and we're so worried about other things when the most important things that is happening right before our eyes, we skip over that. We don't give that no kind of attention. Also, I look at life differently from others because growing up, my mother was Democrat and my father was a Republican. I am now 52 and they are still the same way. I only care about votes for my own personal reasons and won't crucify someone for who they choose. But where it does become a problem is when you chose someone, now they go against you and you're upset. That's facts. Trump doesn't care about MM. All he care about is himself, and MM will soon see because right now things are in her favor. People will settle for anything when it comes to money, for the love of money is the root to all evil. I see your comment, Mara. Mara says black people used to love Trump before he became president and started being our worthy raw with his comment, but we knew who he was. One thing you can say about Trump, he says what he means and he means what he says. If he tell you he gonna do it, he gonna do it.
So why now have you been involved with speaking about politics? What was kind of the turning point for you? Yeah.
What was the turning point? Well, being pushed. Yeah. Sometimes you just get tired of it and then you realize, wait a minute, I have something inside of me that's stronger than what's out there. That's right. So when you've had enough, you realize, wait a minute, why do I even care about these people and what they think? Who are they? They don't even know who they are. So I'm not going back more. I'm not going to ever again.
Amen. Can the students in the room raise your hand? Wow. This question is for you guys. So you guys are very courageous and bold on your campus. Nicki, I know our students feel this way, but why do you think speaking your mind has become so controversial?
Because people no longer are using their minds, their brains. So right now, imagine how to have it more. We're not allowed to think out loud anymore. This is not what the world used to feel like. And especially for the young people, I don't want them growing up in a world where they feel like that. I mean, they deserve for their voices to be heard. They have valid feelings and they're thinking.
And y'all know what? She's absolutely right about we need to listen to what the young people have to say. I'm gonna give y'all a prime example. It was a Facebook post, right? And it was a young dude. He had to be no more than 25 years old, right? Now, he was dropping jewels about Christmas. He was giving it up. You know, he touched off on things when it's pertaining to Christmas that I didn't even know about as far as the history and really taking a deep dive into it, right? Don't you know it was at least 10, I counted, at least 10 older people that came for that young dude, telling him that he's lying and, just bashing him. Now you got a young guy breaking down how Christmas is a pagan holiday. You got older people going against him. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Christmas a pagan holiday? Now you got a young guy, no more than 25 years old. You got a young guy dropping jewels. The older people don't even know. And I'm just scratching my head. And I came to his defense. I said, the young N, because that's what they was calling him. And he was trying to tell him he's not a young N. Stop calling him, stop referring to him as a young N. He was like, all young people don't operate under the YN umbrella. He was very intelligent, but they just kept calling him a YN, and they kept disagreeing with him. And then I had to pull out the biblical scripture, Jeremiah 10:3-4. No, they never responded back to him, and they never responded back to me. I say all this to say we better start listening to these YNs. We better start listening to these younger brothers and sisters. All of them not on social media flashing pow-pows and flashing their money. All of them not on social media twerking and showing off their goods. Just like in our time, everybody that was young wasn't on demon time or wasn't out there being ignorant. So it's the same way today. But as old heads, we have to listen to these young folks. I'm just going to say that, y'all. I'm going to let a little bit more Nicki ride, and then we're going to get back to NaZiyah Harris, and then I'm going to let everybody get out of here.
And if you're growing up in a world that tells you it's taboo to say some masses don't agree with, that's not okay. And we're not gonna have it. And I love this. It's giving the younger people confidence that they will need later on in life. You guys will need it, and you will have it. So I'm rooting for you.
Amen. Again, Charlie would always say it really does not take skill to be courageous. It takes a choice. It takes a decision. And I want to say again, thank you for coming and being courageous and being able to share your heart with us. And the reason why that also holds true sentiment-wise is because I know that you are getting a lot of backlash from your own industry. What is your reaction to that?
I didn't notice.
Amen. I feel the same way. When people are like, what do you think about them? I'm like, I don't think about them.
Bingo. We don't even think about them.
We don't have time to. We're too busy building, right?
Yeah. The other people, they're the ones who are still just disgruntled, but really they're just disgruntled with themselves. You can't wake up and think about somebody who is determined to just stay mad.
That's real. That's real, y'all. You can't. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It's hard, especially when people taking shots at you. I speak about my experience all the time. It's hard. And it just depends on how I'm feeling. It depends on where I'm at, but it's like going into another year, it really shows me exactly what she said. Y'all realize people are mad at themselves. So if they don't got no love for themselves, if they're always angry at themselves because of what they're not and the mistakes that they made, then we don't got nothing coming. So we got to be careful who we entertain. We got to be careful who we give our energy to, because they're going to always be people that's going to be coming for us, regardless what it is that we do in life. If Nicki Minaj was talking bad about Donald Trump, believe it or not, some people still would be coming for her. So, hey, do what you do, be who you be. A little bit more from Nicki, then we're going to end it off with NaZiyah Harris again.
I literally tell them, stay mad.
Amen.
Stay mad. Because we're going to stay joyful and peaceful and iconic and smart.
Yes.
And we're going to stay thinkers. In a world that doesn't want us to think, we will think. By ourselves, on our own, we will continue to think.
And to be real with y'all, I'm going to end Nicki with that, because she reminds me, if we really look at the NaZiyah Harris case, if we look, that's how they done NaZiyah Harris, y'all. Because NaZiyah Harris was a shining star. She was a shining star. But those that was around her, those that were supposed to protect her, they saw it. And they knew it. Because when we go back and when we look at that video, when Miss Annette was cussing at them kids, and then she was praying. And if you look in that video, I say it all the time. NaZiyah Harris, her clothes were on. She was neat. Everything that she was supposed to have been doing, she had done. And even when you go to the videos, when she was making her own clothes, she was determined. She was determined that she was going to make something out of herself. Look at what she was up against. And that's why I be telling people, a lot of people be making excuses. I ain't grew up with my father, or my mother wouldn't do this, my mother wouldn't do that. There have been plenty of people that have became successful that was in a worse predicament than you were in. Look at NaZiyah Harris. She didn't have a father. Her mom wasn't around. She was in a hellhole, but she was still determined. She was still destined to be somebody great. And Miss Annette and Shannon, we definitely know those two. And we might not be able to say Marquita, but we definitely know Miss Annette and Shannon, they stopped her growth. Those two, when it comes to the family, those are the main two, in my opinion. The uncle, he definitely played a part in it, but Miss Annette and Shannon, you and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, especially Shannon, she was jealous of NaZiyah. Now, we can chop it up as far as, was Miss Annette jealous? Drop an 8. Let's do it like this, y'all. Drop an 8 if you feel like Miss Annette was jealous of NaZiyah. She could have been jealous. She could have been jealous, because one thing that we know about women and men, but one thing we know about women, it don't take much for a woman to be jealous of another woman, especially an older woman comparing herself to a little girl. Because Miss Annette see in NaZiyah, and that's just my perspective. It's my perspective. Miss Annette saw in NaZiyah, and she saw the possibilities that NaZiyah was going to become one day that she didn't. And I know this for a fact. Men do it too. So it just ain't females. But a person will get in your way and block what's coming to you, or try to block what's coming to you, intercept the good that's coming to you because they jealous of you. That's why you gotta be careful who you be around. You gotta be careful who you give your time to. Husbands be jealous of their wives. Wives be jealous of their husbands. Cousins be jealous of cousins, sisters, so on and so on and so on. So NaZiyah was filled with a bunch of jealousy and envy around her. So now this trial is coming up. The trial is coming up, y'all. I'm excited about the trial, but I'm a little concerned about this trial, y'all. And y'all can build with me, or y'all could get me to see it from another perspective. And I'll listen. The reason why I'm concerned and the reason why I'm worried is because it's not looking good for the prosecution. It's not. It's not, y'all. And I'll say it again. The circumstantial evidence is there. The circumstantial evidence is there. I've never said that it wasn't. And in the state of Michigan, as well as other states, there have been people that have been found guilty based on the circumstantial evidence, and even when a body isn't present. There has been 7 out of 10 cases the defendant was found guilty when there was no body and the circumstantial evidence was there. But in those 7 out of 10 cases, those cases was not jacked up. I see you, Miss Parker. This case is jacked up. The content creators. I always fight for the content creators because I'm a content creator. The content creators did not jack this case up. Don't let nobody tell you that the content creators jacked this case up. The content creators did not jack it up. The content creators helped push this case and push this case. Now you got a lot of content creators. We ain't the ones that jacked it up. If you really know this case, who jacked the case up? The first person that jacked the case up was Miss Annette. Am I lying? This is how we gonna do this right here. If y'all can point out one lie, if y'all can detect one lie that I'm saying, I won't talk about NaZiyah Harris no more. Who jacked it up? Miss Annette jacked it up. For whatever reason. All right. Let's say she jacked it up for Jarvis. She jacked it up. Let's say she jacked it up for Shannon. She jacked it up. Let's say she jacked it up for herself. Miss Annette jacked the case up from the very beginning. She did not take this case to Detroit Police Department for 30 days, not unless they lying. The second person that jacked it up was Kim Worthy. I could do a demonstration on Kim Worthy, y'all. So that's why I'm worried about this case. Miss Annette, along with Kim Worthy, because you got to remember now, Jarvis' defense team, y'all don't think that they were paying attention to Miss Annette's testimony? Let me guess. The content creators is the ones that sent the evidence to Jarvis' defense team. You don't think Jarvis was already peeping the stuff that we peeped later on? You don't think Jarvis already peeped that? Why you think he was taking notes? Because the same thing that we peeped in Miss Annette's testimony, Jarvis been peeped it. I told y'all that Jarvis was talking. So I'm concerned. Now, I'm going to ask everybody a question. And I'm going to answer this question also. Would we prefer for Jarvis to be found guilty of all of the charges against him? Or would we want Jarvis to be found guilty of the charges that apply to him? It's not a trick question. Don't let somebody come and twist the narrative, because you know there is. What are you talking about? Jarvis is guilty of it all. So what do we want Jarvis to be found guilty of? Anybody? Do I want to see Jarvis found guilty of red rum, and I don't believe he committed the red rum? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Because I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Even though I don't believe he committed the red rum, I do believe the inappropriate touching, definitely he done. Now, what do I want to see happen to Jarvis? I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I want to see Jarvis go to prison for life. I do. I want to see Jarvis go to prison for life. But I have to keep stressing it. I want everybody that played a part in what happened to NaZiyah, I want them to go to prison just as well as I want Jarvis to go. And you can't convince me. You can't convince me. Even if Shannon didn't have no part in the red rum, Shannon, I mean, and maybe I'm just in my feelings, but Shannon fed NaZiyah to Jarvis. Shannon fed Jarvis's sexual fantasies. She knew what was going on with NaZiyah and Jarvis. You can't tell me that she didn't. Didn't the CPS report go in, and didn't the CPS workers question Shannon about NaZiyah and the other child? Way before NaZiyah went missing, right? And didn't Shannon cover for Jarvis? And that was years. That was a year or two. I can't remember, y'all. But that was a year or two before this happened. She knew. She knew. Let's stay right there. Let's go by what we know that's facts. All right? We far enough in the case where as though we're going to deal with the facts. All right? Let's take Shannon off the table for the red rum. I can do that. I could do that. But she got to stay on the table for allowing the inappropriate touching. Now, if I'm wrong in that, somebody correct me. I just... Let me come to my chat, y'all. He ain't taking no deal. Who said that in my Candy Bars voice? Everything. I feel everyone should be charged with what they did. Yes, but he didn't do everything by himself. Only the inappropriate touching, but no red rum. I see you, Miss Parker. Ann says, Shank, you're thinking just like me. All them demons need to be charged. Goddess says, you right. She allowed it. So that's what we know for a fact. You can't dispute that. If anybody can dispute that, I won't talk about it no more. So let's hold Shannon accountable for what we know that's a fact. She allowed it. She allowed it. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, when it came to Jarvis's stable of women, now when you look at his stable of women, it's really, and this is just my opinion on it, y'all, and I'm not making mockery of them, but it's really no competition. All of them, in my opinion, they all are similar in some kind of way. But if you put NaZiyah in this equation, NaZiyah, she outshines them. So, because people might say, but Shank, if she felt that way about NaZiyah, why do you think she didn't feel that way about the other baby mothers, and she ain't try to do none of them? I mean, it's no competition, you know. But now when you put NaZiyah, she young. She got the whole world waiting on her. You handed her over, Shannon. You know, and you know, I get in my moods, you know, but out of respect for Kenya, I told Kenya that I would fall back, you know. Shout out to Kenya. You know, she says, Shank, You know, you did a good job. You're doing a good job. You know, you can talk about it, you know, but just not as much. So that's why I don't talk about it on a regular like I used to talk about it, you know, because for me, there's still some things down that rabbit hole, in my opinion. You know, there are still some things down that rabbit hole that could be brought to light. It's so much. But when I look at her, when I look at a picture and I say, damn, you know, I be like, damn. Some of them need to be made fun of. LOL. Talk your ish, bro. Right. Which is kind of weird, in my opinion, because we need to keep her name alive. And that's facts. You know what I mean? That's facts. And for me, you know, me and Kenya, we got a cool relationship. We cool. Ain't no disrespect on either part, you know. So I didn't take it like that with Kenya. I just granted her the wish. But like I said, I do know that I'm not the only one. And this ain't for Kenya. This is for others. This is for others that want me to stop talking about it and even come for me about talking about it. I ain't the only one that's talking about it. There are a lot of content creators that talk about the NaZiyah Harris case. But notice, they don't go and tell them. They don't talk ish about them. You know, and then you got to remember, there are a lot of new people that's coming to this case that don't have a clue. They reach out to me. And that's why I said, okay, I can do this demonstration. My opinion, I think that we should talk about NaZiyah Harris every day, all day. And there are other cases that we could talk about too. And if we could talk about them, we talk about them as well. But then there are other content creators that talk about those cases as well. I just, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm going to just touch off on it, y'all. When it comes to these cases, we got to respect the content creators. We got to respect the content creators. I'll say it again. Every content creator you might not like, and that's cool, but at least respect them. You know, at least respect them enough to not take shots at them. You know what I mean? Because y'all don't know how we get drained by covering these cases like NaZiyah Harris. These some cases. So, and that's why every chance I get, I always say shout out to the content creators, regardless of what. But y'all gotta let us content creators, y'all gotta let us cook. Y'all gotta let us cover these cases. And let us cover these cases how we choose to cover the cases. If you got a problem with any of us, you create a platform. You got a platform for some. Some of y'all got a platform. Why focus in on Shank Rock and how Shank Rock run his platform and how Shank Rock do his platform? You got a platform. Run your platform. Come on. But you still in your body about it. We can't let it go. I'm sorry. I'm just so passionate about her and her story. We all are such a Virgo. We all are. You know, we all are, because that's messed up what happened to her. It's messed up. It really is. You know, it really is. Fact, Shank. Well, he inappropriately touched his own daughter. How did Shannon not see that or ignore it, but only focus on NaZiyah? That's crazy work. And if y'all heard the transcripts just blows your mind. Like, Shannon, damn. You know what I mean? It's crazy work. You're right, bro. Speak. I've literally grieved this baby like she was my own. I pray for justice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's messed up. You know what I mean? It's messed up all the way around the Monopoly board, y'all. So I appreciate everybody for pulling up. I will do another NaZiyah Harris demonstration tomorrow. I have set my times for 10 p.m. I will be going live Monday through Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So if you don't get the notifications, 10 p.m., meet me here. I will also be going live on my backup channel. I'm not sure of the time that I'll be going live on the backup channel after dark with Shank. But for this one, the main channel, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Fridays. All right. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. If you would like to support the channel, there's different ways you can support the channel. You can purchase a membership. If you purchase a membership, some of my demonstrations are for members only. And then sometimes I do my demonstrations and the only ones that can leave comments is members. So that's one of the benefits that you'll get by becoming a member to the channel. Or you could purchase a super sticker or a super chat. If you got a comment or a question that you need for me to read or answer, I answer all super chats. Sometimes I can't get to my comments because sometimes the chat be moving fast or I just be into my commentary, whereas though I can't get to the chat. So if you need me to read a question or a comment, just grab a super chat. All right. And then another way is if you would like to send a cash donation, my cash app is $ERICMCINT. Salute everybody, and I'll see everybody back tomorrow at 10 p.m. No, tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow is Saturday. So I'll see everybody back. Then again, I'm not sure. I might go live tomorrow at 10 p.m., but definitely Monday through Fridays. All right. I might go live tomorrow Saturday. All right. Salute everybody. I'll leave the chat running and you all can hang around. Salute everybody. Shank Rock is the wave of the future. The diagrams that I have up, where did this go wrong at?
Remember, we didn't know this happened to her.
Oh. That's how they figured out she was pregnant.
Around 3 o'clock that morning, I got random text messages and it was just pictures of her and the other little girl. I thought it was strange.